According to a report released by Finance Ministry, the central government is doubling down on its commitment to fiscal responsibility as it plans to enhance quality spending and strengthen social security net, as well as reduce the fiscal deficit to 4.5% of the GDP by financial year 25-26. That will be the target as far as the new financial year is concerned, and will be a budgetary promise of the government. Now, Centre will of course focus on quality spending, aims to reduce fiscal deficit by 4.5% of the GDP, will continue on the glide path of fiscal consolidation as announced in 2021. Now, the report also suggests that the Centre is committed to pursuing glide path of fiscal consolidation. Remember, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will present the budget for 25-26 on 1st of February 2025. The report comes amid Finance Ministry in its half-yearly review highlighting trends in receipts and expenditure, as well as updates on obligations under Financial Responsibility, Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act. And as far as the new budget is concerned, we're given to understand quality spending will be one of the cornerstones of Budget 2025. The government is also looking to ensure it remains on the glide path of fiscal responsibility. And the government, of course, hoping to strengthen the social security net. It wants to reduce fiscal deficit to 4.5% and lower than 4.5% of the GDP by financial year 25-26. Gaurang, I want to take you through what's coming out by the way of what is expected from budget. The budget conversations have already started, and we're given to understand that Finance Ministry will now be focusing on a fiscal deficit, reducing it to about 4.5% of the GDP. One of the thrust areas is going to be quality spending. Is that something that you're expecting from the budget?
So we saw a budget in the month of June, if I'm not mistaken, and 1st Feb will be the date where we'll have the union budget unfold by the Honorable Finance Minister Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji. Fiscal prudence has been one of the most core factors and point of focus for the government, and rightly so. The number has been coming down over the last couple of years. It still needs to come down. I think fiscal prudence is something, and at the same time, the Honorable Finance Minister has to do the balancing act as well. Spending on infrastructure, job creation, creating an atmosphere for giving boost to consumption, and focusing on the semi-urban and rural India. I think these are some of the points that have been always on the priority list as far as the government or the Ministry of Finance or Finance Ministry is concerned. Expect this to continue. At the same time, give a little bit of more policy changes for corporate India to perform not only on that domestic level but also at an international level, and to make regulations a little bit more easier to deal with. I think these are some of the priority areas, and of course infrastructure creation, without which our GDP growth rate is going to stagger a little bit. And if we are able to do this, my sense is that we can possibly achieve what we are striving for.
All right. Gaurang, over the year, since we're ending the year, consumption has been particularly problematic when it comes to the lower stratas of society. So from FMCG point of view, from point of view of mass consumption, there's been a problem there. But as far as spending on more expensive items and luxury items and goods is concerned, we've seen an uptick. So that division has continued over the year. I think that is something that the government should also be focusing on, in your opinion, how to really drive mass consumption?
Well, I think the core focus, that's what I mentioned, the core focus is going to be focusing on semi-urban and rural India.
Right.
Because large part of our population depends on agri-activity, and, monsoon is agri-activity is totally dependent on monsoon. Last year, we had a little bit of erratic monsoon. This year, it was a little bit better than what we saw last time, though it was not as per the predictions of the SkyMet or the Met Department. And whenever you have this kind of a situation, I think spending, contracts a little bit in semi-urban and rural India because of the fact that they are dependent on whatever they grow in their, in terms of crops in the field. Uh, Need to see how the finance minister is going to give a boost over there.
Right.
So not only was consumption at a lower level in semi-urban and rural India, but even in metros and tier 2, tier 3 cities, it was at a lower level. This is not only restricted to the basic consumption FMCG sector, but also to the discretionary and non-discretionary kind of consumption spend, likes of autos and consumer durables and gems and jewelry, etc., etc. Though the marriage season rather is at its highest level right now as we speak. So the precious metal has been showing a decent amount of uptick.
Absolutely.
But
In fact,
FMCG and consumer durable is something that's lagging.